Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? I'm Levi and welcome to Latino Fluency. In today's video, I'm going to answer a very common question. Am I too old to become fluent in Spanish? Let's actually take the camera and go outside. It is a beautiful sunny day. Vamos para allá. Hola amigos, estamos de regreso here right next to the beautiful Guadalupe River in Central Texas where I'm currently living. Are you too old to become fluent in Spanish, to learn Spanish? We're going to talk about 5 very basic factors and questions that you need to ask yourself. Number 1 is going to be learning ability and memory capacity. So just ask yourself this very basic question. Where are you at this point in your life in terms of being able to learn something new? Is it much weaker than it was before when you were younger? What about your memory? Are you having issues remembering basic things nowadays? Or do you feel like your memory is just as good as it always has been? Memorize new facts, new words, new expressions, new bits of information and retain them for several days or several weeks? If this is the case, I think you're completely fine. These factors are very important in learning a language, but keep in mind that learning a language, becoming fluent in a language, is really an innate human ability. It's something that all humans are capable of doing. So as long as you're on the average level of learning capacity and memory, you're totally fine. Number 2 is a willingness to train your linguistic muscles on a near daily basis. So if you want to become fluent in Spanish, you need to understand that you are training your mind, but you're also very much training the muscles that form words, right? So you're training your mouth, your tongue, your throat, and you're also actually training your ears in a lot of cases when you're trying to develop listening comprehension skills. So to become fluent in Spanish, you have to be willing to train your linguistic muscles on a very consistent basis. That's one of the only ways to achieve fluency in Spanish is consistency, really putting in the effort and the work. If you're willing to do this, if you're like, absolutely, I'm willing to study every day, I'm willing to read out loud, to have conversations, to practice my listening skills, all of these things that go into learning Spanish, if you're willing to do that, you're on the right track. Number 3 is, do you currently have the ability to hear clearly and to understand well? So if you're asking yourself the question, am I too old to become fluent in Spanish? One of the factors is absolutely, can you hear language well? So native English or whatever your native language is, can you understand when people are talking? Can you understand the television, the radio, people on the street? If you struggle with this, you definitely want to look into getting some sort of hearing apparatus, a hearing aid, or whatever you want to call it, something that will help bring your listening abilities up to at least the average person. I would imagine that it would be very difficult to become fluent in a language if you do struggle hearing. If this is a problem for you, I would look at ways to improve it. And if you do that, absolutely, I think that you will check the box on factor number 3. Factor number 4 is an open mind. Do you have an open mind? And if you feel that you don't have too much of an open mind, are you willing to cultivate an open mind over time? I would imagine that some people watching this video might think having an open mind is a great trait to have, but is it really necessary if you want to become fluent in Spanish or in another language? In my opinion, absolutely. If you are closed off to the culture whose language you are learning, you're going to struggle. In the case of learning Spanish, I always recommend to learn a certain dialect of Spanish. So focus on, for example, Mexico. So if you are interested in learning Spanish, you like Mexico, focus on Mexican Spanish and really focus on having an open mind to the country, the culture, the people of Mexico. And this is going to really facilitate your learning. You're going to be much more open. You will be more willing to have conversations with these people. with Mexican people, with listening to Mexican podcasts, conversations, watching series, spending time in the country. All of these things will go into improving your chances of becoming fluent, improving your skill set. If you're doing an honest assessment and you think, I'm not super open to Mexican culture, or ever spending time down there because I think it's corrupt and dangerous, and I just don't want to, I don't think that that's for me. If you honestly have that kind of mindset, I'm not saying that you're completely wrong or you're completely right. I just think that you should really reassess, okay, why do you have that mindset? And maybe you should shift to, in the case of Spanish, another culture, another people that would allow you to have a more open mind. For example, maybe if you want to learn Spanish and you, for whatever reason, are closed-minded about Mexico, but on the other hand, the country of Chile or Ecuador sounds much more appealing to you and much more interesting. You have a more open mind towards that culture, that type of Spanish, that dialect of Spanish, I should say, then by all means, I would say just run with that, embrace that. Whatever is going to help you have a more open mind. Have an open mind in any way that works, and if you're able to do that, that will check the box of factor number 4, and it will help you enormously. Factor number 5 is discipline. So ask yourself, are you a disciplined person? Just be honest. Are you disciplined with exercising? Are you disciplined with eating, with getting to bed on time, with getting your work done, with, whatever? Discipline is super important in becoming fluent in Spanish or in any language on the planet. You have to have discipline. It's never going to come easy. You have to be hyper consistent. You have to make sure that you are putting in work on a daily basis, or at least a 5 to 6 day a week basis, over a considerable amount of time. So make sure that discipline is checked, and just be honest with yourself. There's lots of ways to cultivate discipline. We're not all born disciplined. I would say that most of us are probably not. We have to cultivate it, train our discipline, build it up over time. So if you can do those 5 things, check those 5 boxes, you absolutely can become fluent in Spanish or in any other language that you put your mind to. Keep these things in mind. Keep in mind what fluency is and isn't. And also keep in mind these 5 factors. And if you can check those boxes, you're not too old. It doesn't matter if you're 3 years old, if you're 75 years old, you have the ability to do it. Muchas gracias de nuevo por haber visto este video. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Send me a message. Connect with me on Facebook, on YouTube, through my website. At latinofluency.com, I have lots of information. I have a Spanish immersion course. I'm working on a Spanish fundamentals course that is going to be great for you beginners. So head over to the website. On the homepage, there's a place you can leave your email. I will send you updates every week when new videos, new podcasts, and new courses come out. Thanks again for watching the video. I really hope it helps you. If you know somebody that is learning Spanish or is interested in Latin America, send them this video or send them maybe any of my videos. Mil gracias, espero verte en el próximo video. Adiós.